Did you know that the way you text has a huge impact on how you're perceived? Do you want to make a great first impression that translates via screens and texting lingo? Take it from us. Nobody wants to be that texter. The one that turns people off or comes across as boring, rude, or clingy. Unlike on a phone call, you can't tell someone's tone from their text message. Someone can misunderstand your message over something as simple as a typo. By the end of this video, you'll learn how to maintain the flow of the conversation and to stop some unpleasant texting behaviors that make people dislike you. If you're new here, subscribe for more social psychology videos and leave a comment below saying I subscribed. I'll try my best to reply to as many comments as possible. Let's start. Number 13. You use too many full stops or periods. Yes, it's the right way to end a sentence, but this isn't your English grammar examination. That dot can give the impression that you're not honest. At least that's what Birmingham University researchers discovered after showing study participants a series of brief conversations that were either formatted as handwritten notes or texts. The message was an invitation, followed by the words sure, okay, yeah, or yup, both with and without a period. Responses in text messages that include a period were seen to be less sincere than those that didn't have a full stop at the end. In handwritten notes, the outcome wasn't the same. Researchers discovered that your text response that ends in an exclamation point rather than nothing may make your message seem more authentic. So yes, now's the time to drop those full stops, unless you enjoy being shady. Number 12. You use too many emojis. Look, this is okay for our mothers to do. It's endearing when they send us an army of random emojis. But you, as a young adult, a functioning member of the urban community, it's social suicide. If you want to spice up your texts every now and then with an emoji, go ahead, but don't overdo it. It can get quite unpleasant if your content is followed by a long list of various emoticons, or if you substitute emojis for words in your messages. Also, some emojis, such as thumbs up, might be seen as passive-aggressive. Just occasionally use a heart or a cheerful face. Occasionally. Number 11. You make people wait. We've all opened a text message, been preoccupied, and forgotten to text back, right? We've also experienced what it's like to be the one waiting for a response for days. Don't open the text message if you know you can't respond straight away, because nothing's worse than seeing those deadly blue ticks. Here's a hack so that you don't forget to respond. Wait till you have time and only then go through your text messages. Also, they won't have to wait for an initial response if you tell them you'll get back to them later. It's always good to let people know you're caught up in the moment, but you'll get back to them as soon as you can. Number 10. You're a master of typos. According to a Match.com survey, typos and poor language are the biggest turnoffs for both single men and women. You know, another thing that annoys singles, and presumably everyone else on the planet too? Short answers like K and cool. A little more effort could go a long way, or at the very least, lead to a second date. So always check your grammar, folks. Number 9. You write novels. Nothing gives people anxiety like the one long bubble of text. You're not writing a novel, so don't make your text excessively long. If you have a lot to say, ask the person you're texting if they would prefer to talk on the phone instead of continuing the conversation via text. Or there's the good old voice note option. Whatever you do, stop sending paragraphs that nobody has the time to read. Number 8. You're a grammar Nazi. Let us tell you, nobody likes the person who's always correcting others. Don't edit people's grammar because nobody puts the same effort into texting as they do into writing their senior thesis. People will inevitably make mistakes when texting because phone screens are small and our fingers are, well, chubby. Also, due to the speed at which texts are sent, people rarely edit their writing. So, yes, while we can all make an effort to reduce our typos, pointing out someone else's typos is a no-no. Number 7. You text apologies. The problem with that is that you're not genuinely apologizing. When you ask for forgiveness, you're not facing the person you hurt and looking them in the eye. An MIT social scientist revealed that a face-to-face apology is a typical example of how empathy is taught. When you apologize to someone in person, they become more understanding because they can see that you're sincerely upset. They can tell that you care about them. None of this happens if you text, "I'm sorry," and press send. While sending an apology by text message isn't the worst, meeting in person to talk it out will be so much better for you. We get it. Not everyone is comfortable being confrontational in person. Some people find that they can only write about their emotions to convey them. The trick is in being genuine and letting the other person know your emotions behind it all, because a lot can be lost in a text. Number 6, you are a serial editor. Picture this. Your friend texts you to check on your reaction to something she said the night before. Whatever, it's no big deal, you write. Wait, you think you can rephrase that, so you delete that message. You give it another shot, add a bit more backspace, choose to invite her over for coffee. Throughout this time, she's observing the tiny bubbles that pop up, disappear, and reappear to show that you're typing. When you try to reassure her that you weren't just spelling out your profanities, she assumes the worst. What do we learn from this? Editing after texting someone isn't the best way to go about it. Even before you say a word, those ellipses might communicate a lot. Oh, and if you're one of those people who simply deletes and unsends messages after sending them with zero explanation, there's no hope for you. Number 5, you text when you're not supposed to. According to Bank of America's Trends in Consumer Mobility report, using your smartphone in a darkened theater is the most annoying place to do it. Even though you might not be speaking, everyone nearby can see that blue light and become distracted. Restaurants and places of worship ranked as the second and third most annoying places to use a phone, respectively. 4 out of 10 adults were found to text while eating, and 1/3 of respondents admitted to checking their phones mid-conversation, according to the same survey. It goes without saying, don't get so pulled into the world of texting that you forget to live in the moment. Sometimes putting our phone down and looking at something with our full focus is the best thing we can do. Oh, and whatever you do, don't text while driving. Number 4, you're a broadcaster. Okay, so how many of us actually read through those forwarded messages we receive? None of us, right? They're just sitting there clogging our inboxes and eating up our memories. It's acceptable and effective to send a small group text in certain situations. But when 50 of your friends' smartphones ring at once with a picture of your new dog, they'll all answer, of course. Even though you might like it, the other people in the group text might not want a constant stream of compliments, comments, or heart emoticons. Keep your texts more private, or simply copy and paste them to each friend individually. Bonus tip, respond exclusively to the sender if you're the recipient of a massive group text. Number 3, you text 10 times in a row. There's always that one friend who can't send a single text. Your phone buzzes for at least 3 minutes as they send a message, one after the other. Don't be that friend. It's so anticlimactic to see 9 new texts that are essentially just one thought. And it's even more difficult to follow if one of the texts disappears into cyberspace. Also, how does one even respond to 9 different sentences? Number 2, you call, then text. Say your friend didn't pick up the phone when you called. She might have been driving or simply busy. Or perhaps she simply didn't feel like talking to you at that particular time. But now she has 2 messages from you that she's unable to respond to right now. Unless there's an emergency, don't text people saying you called, or even call before asking them on text if they're free to hop on the phone with you. It's really the smallest of things that make all the difference. Number 1, you text sensitive things. We've all heard about someone getting dumped via text message, right? Whatever you do, don't be that person. It's happened to the best of us. Just ask Katy Perry. Russell Brand, the singer's ex-husband, simply texted her to end their marriage in 2011 while she was in the middle of her concert. Sensitive news like a death in the family or being laid off from work are also things that shouldn't be communicated via text. Messages containing strong emotions are best conveyed over the phone or in person. Body language, facial gestures, and your tone of voice convey more information than written words do. And there's less risk that your message may be misunderstood or shock someone while they're least expecting it. Remember, texting isn't rocket science, but there is an etiquette attached to it. Since we're substituting for verbal communication, we have to go the extra mile. Now you need to watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. It will show you how to tell if someone truly likes you over text. Make sure to watch it now. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.